You have been a key corporate advisor to the Obama administration. You head a company that's very attuned to the business and economic cycles. Where is the U.S. economy headed over the next year?
Well, actually, I think things are going to continue to get better for at least the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years. It may not feel like that because we hit such a bottom, but we have come off that bottom, and we've been saying that for 9 or 10 months now. So I actually think things are going to be getting better. Now, that doesn't mean all the news is going to be good. There's always puts and takes, there's pluses and minuses, and I've often said even if all the news was good, that would be something to be worried about. So when it comes to economics, there's always something to worry about. But I think it's inexorable. We're going to continue moving upward. That's the high probability outcome.
Should the Obama administration be doing something to create jobs now, and will they, do you think?
Well, I've always found that a bit of the irony of listening to government folks, whether it's in the Congress or the administration, talk about how they're creating jobs. Because at the end of the day, government doesn't create jobs unless they spend our money. What they can do is create jobs by having an environment that causes people to want to hire. That's the one thing that government can do. And I wouldn't mind seeing more of that approach that just says, let's recognize that government isn't creating jobs. Rather, they're creating an environment where jobs can be created.
A question about the dollar. To what extent has Honeywell been affected by the weaker dollar recently?
Overall, a weaker dollar usually helps American companies. I know it may sound counterintuitive, but it actually does for a couple of reasons. One, your exports become cheaper when you're selling to another country. The second is whatever earnings you have outside the U.S., when you translate them into dollars, become worth more. So it actually has a beneficial impact for companies. So if that led to the next question that said, well, why not just keep weakening it? Well, you can get to a point where it does create a problem for you. If you want the dollar to be the reserve currency for the world, you can't have one that's steadily weakening. So I'd say we're kind of at a good spot right now. I would prefer that it not weaken further when you look at the totality of the global economy and the U.S. economy. But for a company like Honeywell, it actually makes exports easier to do and increases the earnings that you have in outside the U.S.
Let's talk quickly about oil prices. Where do you think they are heading, and what do you think the impact will be? And I know that Honeywell produces a number of energy efficient products, and higher oil prices tend to benefit that. But what do you see going on there?
I think you'd have to say oil prices are a lot more likely to go up than down. And if you look at it pre-recession, it was touching $150. There wasn't a big increase in the world supply. The global economy is coming back. It just kind of says that whether it's oil, zinc, aluminum, any kind of metal, they're more likely to be going up than down. And I'd say the same is true for oil. When it comes to impact on us or the economy, probably start with that. I think that's tough to foretell, because if you'd gone back 8 years ago when oil was 20 bucks and you'd asked me in an interview, what happens if oil hits 35? I'd have said, recession. It'll be a recession. Instead, we got to 150 before that happened. So I don't think people really know what the overall impact is. For us, I've always said the highest oil price that doesn't damage GDP, that's the best spot for Honeywell. So to the extent the economy can keep growing and oil prices go up, it causes people to focus even more on energy efficiency and even more on energy generation. And both of those are important to us, both sides of that.